Have you ever wondered why you keep on receiving ads from a specific product that you've recently searched on Google or that you've recently talked about with someone like a friend or a close person? That's probably because you do have a few settings in here on your phone that you need to turn on immediately, which actually make you a bit vulnerable when it comes to your personal privacy. And in today's video, I'm going to show you a few settings that you must turn off immediately here on your iPhone. Most of them related to your iPhone personal privacy as well as your battery consumption here on your iPhone, because you might be in a situation where you do have a lot of background processes here taking place on your iPhone, and this ends up eating up a lot of battery in here, and at the end of the day you keep on losing a lot of charge really fast. So I'm going to show you a few pre-default settings that usually come turned on automatically, and I'm going to show you how to turn off those specific settings. It's very important for you to actually follow this tutorial and make sure you turn this off, because these settings are actually turned on by default and they come like this whenever you turn on your iPhone for the first time. So let's jump straight into today's video. Hey, my name is Shaq, and in this channel I pretty much do share cool tech related content, and I also share tech fixes as well. So if you're into tech content, consider subscribing here to the YouTube channel. Now, jumping straight into today's tutorial, we'll be playing around our settings here on our iPhone in order to turn off and on a few settings that we've got in here. So jumping straight into the very first setting that I would recommend you guys to turn off, okay? We'll need to scroll down here all the way to privacy and security down here. We'll tap once on privacy and security, and once we're here, we'll tap here on tracking real quick. So what we are actually giving a look at in here are a bunch of applications which actually do have the permission to track our activity here and then share that information with other companies, okay? These are usually data which is sold, for example, to Meta or to Instagram or other applications in here, so they can actually target you customized and personalized advertisements or simply ads. This is something that I pretty much am not comfortable in getting this personalized ads, because at the end of the day, it might make you even spend a lot more money, or at the end of the day, getting your information being exposed because they actually create a specific profile that identifies your person. They do have a list of everything that you search and everything that you like, that you dislike, and they pretty much know how to target or how to reach out to you. So what I would recommend you guys to do in here is to double check every single app that actually has permission to track your activity here on your iPhone. So what I would recommend you guys to do is to actually turn that off, okay? For example, you've got in here Binance, you can turn this off, okay? It might share a few crypto-related information that might lead for a different software or company to target ads to me. So you can turn off, for example, here every single app, and then you can turn also off this option which says allow apps to request to track. So you can tap here on ask apps to stop tracking instead of allow apps to continue tracking. Now, if you tap on allow apps, you are actually allowing the previous selected apps to keep on tracking yourself. In my case, I'll be going with ask apps to stop tracking myself, and I want to make sure that I have all single application in here which is not important to be turned off. I believe the only thing that I would turn on in here would be, for example, my WhatsApp, but WhatsApp doesn't even get any information here from my side. As you can see, it's not tracking anything in here, but you do have other apps in here which are actually requesting for permission to track my custom activity every single day. Now, once we're done with this step in here, we're moving into the next step where I'm going to show you a few other settings in here that you need to turn off real quick. Now let's tap here on back, and the next thing I'm going to tap here is right here inside privacy and security. We're going to scroll down all the way to analytics and improvements down here. Okay, now do not worry if you do have a different iPhone model. Do not worry, the process is exactly the same. The steps are the same. I'm doing this on an iPhone 16 Pro, but if you do have a different iPhone model or a different software operating system, do not worry, the process is exactly the same. Let's hop into analytics and improvements in here. And the next up, what you want to do is simply make sure that Share iPhone and Watch Analytics is set to off, okay? By default, it usually comes turned on. You want to make sure you turn that off real quick. Why? Let me quickly show you what exactly does shading your iPhone and Watch Analytics means, okay? So this will help Apple improve its products and services by automatically sending every single day diagnostic and usage data. This is your custom usage data every single day. If I hop into analytics real quick in here, as you can see, we do have every single day a report which is generated here by your phone, pretty much telling Apple, hey, this is how you're actually using your phone. This is so creepy. For example, we've got in here 1st October 2025, 2nd October 2025, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and this information is actually being shared every single day with Apple. And if you open up this analytics in here, you do have a lot of information in here being shared, which is actually related to yourself. For example, the location where you are, the country, the area, a lot of stuff in here is actually being shared with Apple. So in my case, I would recommend you guys turning this off immediately. And you want to make sure you will also turn off data collection on your Apple Watch. Tap on OK. You do not want to share your personal information with Apple themselves. At least me, I'm not comfortable in doing that, right? So you want to make sure you turn that off real quick. Next up, you also want to turn off Shade iCloud Analytics in here, which also helps improving the products and services in here related to iCloud by sharing your custom activity here with your iPhone every single day with Apple. So turn this off as well, and pretty much any other option that you do have in here. For example, we do have here at the end of the screen, improve AR location and accuracy by sending Apple data about the size and shape of buildings and other physical features around you when you refine your location in maps by scanning your surroundings. This is so creepy. Pretty much you're sharing with Apple your exact location and the buildings that you do have all around yourself, surrounding you and all that, which is also very creepy because it's very accurate about your daily activity, and I'm not comfortable in sharing these as well. So I'm gonna turn off this real quick, which I also do recommend you in turning this off in order to ensure safety with your personal privacy here. When it comes to keeping your personal privacy safe, okay, safe and secure. Next up, what I would recommend you guys to do is to go back real quick, and then over here you want to tap on Apple advertising real quick. Now over here, as you can see, we do have a toggle or a specific option which allows you to get personalized ads, just the way we talked about when it comes to tracking your activity. You also want to make sure you turn this off as well in order to avoid getting very customized ads which are very directed to yourself. If you turn this on, what happens is Apple keeps on sharing very custom and very precise information that you keep on searching, and that information will actually be used to target yourself again to get advertisements or specific ads. This data is actually sold to companies or shared with companies, so it's something that I also don't feel comfortable in sharing with Apple themselves, so I'm going to keep it turned off real quick. Now next up, we're going back here into privacy and security again, and then we'll hop back to the top, and over here we'll tap on location and services, and over here you do have a detailed representation of every single app which is actually using your location at the moment. Now one thing is simply using your location for a specific purpose, and another thing is using it constantly without being necessary, because this ends up eating up a lot of battery in here because you have your phone turned off, for example, but it keeps on locating yourself, and that's something that will consume a lot of battery in here. You normally will run out of battery real quick, and at the end of the day it doesn't even help you out if you don't open that specific app. And in most cases we do have apps that we don't even open for months and weeks, which are simply installed into our device that we don't even use it anymore. So you want to double check in here every single app which is actually consuming a lot of battery by keep on tracking you every single time. Another thing I would recommend you guys to do is to actually switch. For example, if I tap here on Binance, you want to make sure you select the option while using the app, and then simply tap here on ask next time or when I share. Because if you tap on ask next time or when I share, it's going to ask you whether it can share that specific time or not. Or if you're still not comfortable, you can tap on never. That's also okay, because I don't see the need of, for example, an app such as Binance to track my location. Binance is simply an app where I'm going to exchange cryptocurrencies, buy and sell cryptocurrencies. Why do they need to know exactly where I am? It doesn't change anything, right? But for example, if I'm using an app like Uber or Bolt. It's an app that constantly needs to track me in order to find my location whenever I'm booking a cab. That makes sense, but not something like Binance. I really don't need it, okay? Now, Find My iPhone, Find My is something that you can actually turn it on. Makes sense, makes all the sense. Google Maps makes all the sense. So those apps, specific apps, you can actually keep them on. So you can actually track in here and get all the detailed information about what you want to allow it to track your location and what you don't want to allow to track your location. Now, if you scroll down in here, you do have system services as well. If I tap on system services, it's some sort of a more advanced way of tracking your phone. We do have a lot of stuff in here which is useless, which keeps on tracking a lot of information. For example, Apple Pay merchant identification. I don't need this to track my location. Honestly, it doesn't make any sense. Compass calibration, I don't need this. Makes sense if I do have emergency calls and SOS, if I'm in an emergency situation, of course, makes sense. Find My iPhone makes sense. HomeKit doesn't make any sense. Share My location doesn't make any sense to me. Suggestions and search down here doesn't make any sense, okay? And then we do have in here improve location accuracy, doesn't make any sense. iPhone analytics doesn't. Routing and traffic doesn't make any sense. So if you actually have doubt of what to turn on and off, you can actually, for example, give a look at what I have actually turned off, and you can actually follow here my on and off structure here. I'm going to turn off alerts and shortcuts, automations as well. Doesn't make a lot of sense for me to have that using my location. At least for now, I don't see the need of that. If you do have, for example, a suggestion, you can let me know in the comment section down below and we can discuss if something here is very important, okay? Now let's go back, and now let's quickly go back once again, back, and then let's go all the way to the battery section in here. We do have battery in here, and this is something that you can check just to double check that you don't have nothing strange consuming a lot of battery. This is a good way of getting to know if you are actually having a lot of background processes on your phone which you don't desire to have, okay? So over here, what you want to do is simply scroll down and see if you don't have sudden strange spikes in here of activity, such as, for example, when your phone is actually locked, okay, and background processes are taking place in here. This is something that you need to check, okay? It's very important, specifically during nighttime. Try to see what's actually consuming a lot of battery in here while you're sleeping. That's definitely a background process. So you want to make sure that you don't have strange applications down here. Sometimes we accidentally download strange apps or install strange stuff in here that at the end of the day end up consuming a lot of battery in here on background processes, which actually are not really necessary or that are actually performing something that you don't wish to actually happen on your phone. It might be sharing some information as well with the company or with the developer which has created that specific application. So this is something that I would recommend you guys to double check every 24 hours. You can tap on last 10 days and you can also give a look in here of what's eating up a lot of battery in here in the last 10 days, so you can have a detailed representation and analytics of your battery consumption. Now, this is what I would suggest you guys to turn off here on your phone real quick. Thank you so much for making it till the end of the video, and if you find my content useful, consider subscribing, like the video, and let me know in the comment section if you do have any information that you think it's valuable to share here with the other viewers as well. Thank you so much for watching Fixed by Shaq, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.